Hello, this is Dave again at AFX Title, and our website is mineralrightssearch.com for the purposes of this video. So the question is, who owns mineral rights? Well, the first thing is, you do a search on a property, you may show that a particular person or company owns the property, but behind the scenes there may be separate ownership for mineral rights or subsurface rights such as oil and gas, or even timber rights might be separate. And those may have been split off from the surface chain at a long time in history, could have been 50, 60 years ago. So it's important to determine if the mineral rights have stayed with the surface of the property or they've been split off as a separate chain. A couple things that are important as far as checking that out is to see if they were split off, if that ownership has been maintained. If they have not been maintained and the person who owns the mineral rights has not been paying taxes or not been maintaining their rights, there may be a possibility of abandonment and be taken back through adverse possession. Separate from the mineral rights ownership, it's important to understand what other surface rights have been conflicted or compromised due to the mineral rights. Is there a right of access to the surface of the property to drill an oil well, or even to drive a truck across it to get to another piece of equipment having to do with those mineral rights? So surface access and ingress and egress of equipment may be part of that mineral rights contract, so it's important to look at that, not only know who owns it, but how that affects the surface. There also may be pooling agreements. Even though there may not be equipment on the subject property, the property next door might have an oil well, and that oil well may be allowed to pull oil and gas or mineral from underneath through a pooling agreement or slant drilling or some other way to access the valuable mineral or commodities on the subject property. There may also be a master deed that has purchased mineral rights on a blanket group of properties, and that may be something that it comes up as part of the mineral rights title search. And part of that contract may also have royalties that accrue even to the surface owner. Even though the mineral rights were sold, it may keep some royalties going to the surface owner. Sometimes those are lost in the shuffle. After the property is sold multiple times, the surface owner may not ever receive the royalties that they're entitled to, and that may accrue over time. So checking those mineral rights if you're a property owner is a good thing to do. Another important factor is to compare the mineral rights contract with the surrounding properties. If the contract isn't the same or it's better or worse, that might affect the value of the subject property versus those around it. And it may affect the appraisal. It may be a plus or minus on the appraisal if the mineral rights are separate. So who owns the mineral rights is one part of the equation. The other factors of that mineral rights contract can affect ownership of the surface and of the structure, whether it's a home or a business, and could affect the ownership and how easy it is to sell that property.